Hey guys, what is going on, and welcome back to a brand new video. And today's video is going to be a little bit different than my typical kind of videos. In today's video, I'm actually going to help you guys out on increasing your FPS dramatically, kind of take out some input delay and also some stutters and lags that some of you guys are like witnessing in game and stuff. One of the things before I do get into this video, I do want to say if you are using performance mode, this does also apply to you guys also, so it is a big beneficial thing. Same thing for anyone who's on DX11 or even DX12. Alright, so first things first, for all of you guys that are using Nvidia, I do want to tell you guys, if you guys right-click on your desktop, go to the Nvidia control panel. You guys are going to go ahead here and copy my settings that I actually have right here. Go ahead, click on use my preferred emphasis, and then you can also drag this any way you want. This is honestly personal preference in my honest opinion. Now, of course, if you want the most maximum performance, go ahead, drag that slider all the way down. If you kind of want in between, you want a little bit better quality, but you want, some performance, keep it in the middle. If you guys just want strictly quality, like me personally, I want to be able to see the thing that I'm looking at a lot better. So I personally tend to keep this on quality like normal. Now, next up, what you guys are going to go ahead and do is click on Manage 3D Settings. Now, this is where a lot of the big things happen. This is where things are mainly going on throughout your whole entire application. All right, so for starters, you guys are going to go ahead here. You guys are going to want image sharpening on off. You want that disabled. Now, I have saw a couple of people play with this. This doesn't really affect your terms of like performance or anything like that. But if you guys do want a sharper image in the games that you are playing, you guys can go ahead, click here, go ahead and turn that on, and you can adjust this to whatever your preferred preference is. Personally, once again, for me, I don't really want that to... I don't want no like filters on my game when I'm playing it. I want it to be natural, raw, so it has the best latency, best input. Ambient occlusion, you want that off. Anisotropic filtering, you can put that at 8 times. Personally, you can put this on whatever you like. I just have it set to the standard. FXAA, you can have that off. Gamma correction, you want that off 100% because you don't want Nvidia trying to mess up your game with terms of like the colors and the lightings and all that kind of stuff. Anti-aliasing mode, you can go ahead and put that on application. Anti-aliasing settings, you can put that on 4 times. Anti-aliasing transparency, once again, you want that on off. Background application max frame rate, you want that off unless you guys want your FPS to show in the background, which I don't see why you would, but everybody is different. Go ahead and click on CUDA GPUs. Go ahead and set that to all. DSR factors, you can have those off. Now, this is personal preference, all right? You have off, on, and ultra. So, depending on your PC, and if it's a really good high-end PC, this reacts in multiple different kind of ways, depending on the Nvidia graphics card that you have. So, if you have a really good, moderate PC, on is fine. Some PCs that are even moderate tend to keep it off because sometimes it just adds input delay. Personally, for me, I like to keep that on. So it does help out a lot, especially when you do the testings. Next thing you want to go ahead and do is click on max FPS. You do want to set this to off. Typically, people want to keep this on because they want to cap their FPS strictly on 240. What this does essentially for you is that essentially no matter what you are doing, what game it is, your FPS will always cap at the 240 mark. Now, for me personally, I don't want it to do that. I like to keep my FPS on the highest that it can possibly be. Multi-frame sampled MFAA, you can keep that off. Now, here's where all the juicy stuff comes in. OpenGL rendering GPU can be set to 2080 Ti or any of your preferred graphics card that you have. Of course, Nvidia GPUs only and not AMD, unfortunately. Next up is going to be power management mode, which is going to be preferred maximum performance. Typically, I believe this is set to optimal power. You want all the juice out of that boy. So go ahead and set that to preferred maximum amount. Now, this is your monitor right here. You're going to go ahead and put that on the highest available. Silk smoothness off if you have that option available to you. Shader catch on. Texture filtering anisotropic off. Texture filtering negative LOD bias. You go ahead and clamp that boy. And then quality can be on high performance. Trilinear optimization can be off. Trilinear optimization can be turned on. Triple buffer can be set to off. VSync can be set to off because that does cause input delay. Same thing for anybody who's using G-Sync. Personally, for me, the only time that I would suggest G-Sync is only if you want... The only time that I would honestly recommend VSync or even G-Sync is only if you don't want as much screen tearing, which I have never ever witnessed screen tearing personally. But it is different for everybody. G-Sync does add input delay, but it does make your games a lot smoother. You also will notice a decrease in FPS. Same thing with VSync. So I tend to keep those off. Once again, I've never had an issue with screen tearing, so I can't really relate. So I always keep it off. Next up, you want that to set to 1, and then of course the variable can be, turned off. Next up, what you want to do is go ahead and click Configure Surround. Go ahead and click on Processors and select your 2080 Ti or any graphics card that you have that is Nvidia. Next up, when you go to resolutions, make sure, of course, it's on PC, and then your refresh rate is set to the highest available, of course. A lot of people, they tend to be on one of these Ultra HD ones, which is, it says native, but it makes it 60 Hertz. You don't want to be set to that. So, yeah. Next up, you want to go ahead and adjust colors. You can set this to whatever you like. I know a lot of people that are using like colorblind modes or anything like that. Like a good example is Fortnite. The storm is super bad. You can adjust your colors of your monitor, and you can actually, make that storm pop out a little bit more using these. All right, next up, you guys are going to want to skip all these options and go to adjust desktop size and position. So now there is a couple of options over here that you have. You want your resolution for the preview and the refresh rate to be at what it's supposed to be at. So for me, 1080p, 240 Hertz. Now, if you guys scroll up a little bit, there's an option over here called select scaling mode. Now, scaling mode is dependent on any game, but for me personally, scaling mode is the best option, and the reason for that is because since you have no scaling, there'll be less tearing, and also from my testings, it gives you the most FPS compared to the other options. All right, so once you guys have gone ahead and put in those settings that I have exactly, all you guys want to do is go ahead and close out. Of course, make sure you apply them on the bottom right before you guys X out. For me, I already have them applied, so it doesn't really matter. But next up, what you guys want to go ahead and do is go to this PC, go to local disk, and go wherever your Fortnite Win64 is. So for me, program files, Epic Games, Fortnite game, I believe it's content. No, it's binaries, Win64. And then you guys are going to want to go ahead and scroll down a little bit. And then you see this one right here that says Win64 shipping.exe. So you guys are going to right click on it and go to properties. Now, once you go to properties, you guys are going to go to compatibility modes and then go change settings for all of them. Now, you can go ahead and click on disable full screen optimizations, and also click on hide DPI scaling override hide DPI scaling behavior and scaling performance by the application. Go ahead and check that, click OK, click apply, click OK, and then do that also for the next 3 right here. Next up, what you guys can do, I believe this also works for people who have AMDs also. Right click on your desktop once again, go to display settings. Now, if you are on the latest version of Windows, this will work. If you are not, if you're on like 1909 or 1808 of Windows 10, I don't think this would work. But what you guys want to go ahead and do is click on advanced display settings, right? Make sure that your refresh rate, of course, is on 240. And then if you guys go up a little bit more, there's an option called advanced scaling settings. You want to go ahead and click on that. Now, usually this is ticked. So what this does is that it allows Windows to try to fix the apps that you are playing so they are not blurry. You want those turned off. You don't want Windows trying to mess with any of your games. You don't want it to be blurry at all, all right? So once you have done that, go down here. There should be an option called graphics settings. Once again, this option should only be available to people who are on Windows 20H. So go ahead here and go ahead and turn this on. So what this does is this is hardware accelerated your GPU scheduling. So essentially it's going to reduce your latency, improve performance, and you're going to also need a restart once you actually turn it on. Now, another cool thing that you're going to be able to do in here is go ahead and click on browse. And then you guys are going to want to also go to this PC, click on local disk, go to program 64, wherever your Fortnite game is. Once again, Fortnite game binaries, Win64. And then you guys are going to want to check this option right here, the Win64 shipping.exe. It'll literally be the biggest application in that folder, so you can't miss it. Once you go ahead there and you add it in, this right here will be Fortnite. It'll say, I believe, on let or power saving. It should be on one of the two right here. Once you do that, go ahead and click on high performance and click save. Once you have done that, that will actually help out increase your FPS just a tad bit more and also reduce that input delay and stutter that you usually get in game. Now, I do have one more trick down my sleeve. So what you guys are want to go ahead and do here is click on the Windows search bar, go ahead and type in run. You guys are going to want to go ahead here and type in app data, go to local, go down a little bit till you see Fortnite game. Once you click on that, go to Saved, Config, Windows Client, and then you guys are going to have an option called Game User Settings. Now, if you already do configure your game files, just go ahead and uncheck the read only and go ahead and try out these settings. I highly suggest them. So the first things you want to go ahead and do is make sure B Show Grass is on false. Scroll down a little bit more. Make sure your display gamma is on 2.0 instead of that 2.2000. Personally, display gamma at 2.0 makes the colors and everything just pop out way more. It makes everything look 10 times better. Now, if you scroll down a little bit more, now this is for my keyboard people. All my keyboard people who are playing on keyboard, there's an option called B Disable Mouse Acceleration. Make sure that is on true. If this is on false, you've been playing with mouse acceleration this whole time through Fortnite. Now, if you scroll down a little bit more, there's going to be an option right here called Window POS, X, and Y. It's usually set to -1. I want you guys to go ahead here and put that on 0. And the reason for that is because usually when you play Fortnite, the X and Y is set off to -1. So you want it to be dead center. You want it to be set to 0, 0. So that way the cursor that you're using is dead center and not offset by -1. And last but not least, if we scroll down right here, there's called the stability groups. If you go down a little bit, there's 2 options down here. It's called foliaging and also shading quality. These are usually set to high performance, like epic. So that's usually set on 3. Go ahead and turn them to 0. The reason for that is because in my previous testings, I don't see a difference between this being on 0 and 3. But I also did notice that there was an FPS increase when you had these on 0. Even though you might not get a marginal FPS increase, you'll also notice a big increase, well, decrease in latency. So the latency is just going to be feeling so much better. It'll feel like you have less input delay. Alright, and if you guys did enjoy today's video, make sure to leave a thumbs up, a comment, and subscribe if you guys are brand new to the channel. It's been your boy, Outcast Georgia. I'll see you guys in the next video. Let me know if this also helped you guys out down below in the comments.